Right here, stay on. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, let's do this. Man, we gonna do 1, 2, 3.
See, we dream chase, cause that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation? Welcome to the Main Thing Podcast presents. It's your boy, Mr. Owens, and after further review, the call stands. I'm still official with no stripes.
What's going on, Eagles world? This is your man, Big Huss, the one you trust, bring you all your Philadelphia Eagles latest. Hey, we're coming to you on a Friday afternoon, here to discuss the next matchup, Eagles versus Dallas. Y'all know what it is. It's Dallas hate week, Kelly Green week, the whole shit, Bill. You feel me? Yeah, we got Dallas coming up to the link. We have an opportunity here to clinch the division, also clinch the number 2 seeding. More than likely, if we do clinch the number 2 seed, we'll be playing either the Packers or the Commanders for the third time, Packers for the second. But before we really dive into today's game, I just want to give a quick shout out to some former Eagles who are moving on and doing some great things. You have Michael Vick, who has recently been named as the head coach at Norfolk State. And then you have Deshaun Jackson, D-Jack, being named head coach at Delaware State. Man, big ups to these guys. A lot of football there, a lot of talent there. I expect nothing but great things from these fellas. But moving on to Dallas, they recently won 4 of their last 5 games. But it really doesn't matter because they're out the playoffs. F them. F them boys. You feel me? But it should be a good matchup. It's always a good matchup. What you looking for out of this, bro?
Man, look, like you said, a huge rivalry week. We know how we feel about Dallas. We know how Dallas feels about us. Absolutely. Just like the one guy said on one of the NFL old school network channels, he was like, Dallas, we want Dallas here at the vet. That's how we're feeling.
We want Dallas, we hate you, Dallas, right here at the vet.
Like we said, they're not in the playoff hunt. It's more focused on us, but again, it's still a rivalry. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing us coming out prepared, being focused. No matter if Dallas is 7-8, we want to make sure that we take care of this rivalry. We take care of them home field. We know what's at stake. It's nothing major to them, but for us, let's treat it as a rivalry game. Let's come out prepared, and like I said, let's protect the link and get that dub.
Absolutely. Big week. Hey, the boys are trying to play spoiler. We're not going to let them, as you mentioned, man. Let's just handle business. Some quick injury news. You have Brent Covey, who is still out dealing with the neck. He was DMP. You have Jalen Hurts, who's dealing with a concussion, also left finger. DMP, Will Shipley, DMP, concussion. You had Nakobe Dean, who was doubtful today. That's something to keep an eye on, whether he plays or does not play. And then we might possibly have a Bryce Huff sighting with him being questionable this week, coming off that wrist injury. If he's out there, you'll see him, big old 0 with a club on his joint. Hey, it'd be nice to have him back in the rotation after being out for so long. But with no Jalen Hurts, that means you have the former first-round pick, Kenny Pickett, stepping up to the helm. The team's supporting him. You know what I mean? Everybody's going in, giving their vote of confidence in him, saying that he's ready. He's saying that he's ready. So let's hope that he is ready.
Yes.
Offensively, though, what are you looking for, fam?
So offensively, like you said, we know QB1 is not playing in the game. So we turn to Kenny Pickett, who has a fun fact, if people don't know, our supporters don't know, has been a lifelong Eagles fan. So he did mention that this is an opportunity as a kid that he's dreamed of to go against the Cowboys. So what a moment and an opportunity to just take advantage of that, especially to play them at the link at home. He said that he's going to have between like 40 or 50 of his family members in attendance. So I'm looking for a good outing from him. But as far as the offense, we always started, big bro, no turnovers.
Man.
No turnovers, whether that comes from the QB, whether that comes from the running backs, the receivers, tight ends, whatever. No turnovers. Let's have a clean, solid game. Let's have a game plan and come in prepared for this game. As we discussed earlier, Dallas isn't playing for anything, but they do want to play spoiler. And what a better place and opportunity to play spoiler in Philadelphia. So as far as Kenny Pickett, I'm looking for them to aid him, to help him. Let's establish the run game. Do not get away from our game plan. Let's get Saquon involved. Let's get Kenny Gainwell involved. As you mentioned off camera, let's get Kenny Pickett involved a little bit out of the pocket. Dallas, as we know, doesn't have the best run defense. They rank They rank 27th in rush defense, giving up 135 rush yards per game. So that's something that we should hit home and hammer hard, especially since we know that the run game, their run defense is poor. Let's get Kenny Pickett. I would like to see him more under center. Let's get the runs downhill, even if it's a pistol formation as well. For those who are not familiar with pistol formation, you have the quarterback in shotgun formation, but then the running back is lined up directly behind him in the formation. We work best going downhill. As we saw against the Commanders last week, even though the pass is the pass, but you don't dwell on it. You learn from your mistakes and correct it and get better. They didn't respect Kenny Pickett's legs. So I don't want to see too many RPOs because like we said, they zeroed in on Saquon as we saw after towards the end of the first quarter and the remaining of the game. They keyed on Saquon the whole game. So like I said, let's get more under center. Let's push them boys and displace their defensive line. Of course, what I like to see as well, with Kellen Moore calling the offense, I would like to see more quick game, more slants, screens, quick outs, hitches, things like that, because we have to get the ball out of their hands. One thing that the Cowboys defense is great at is they get a lot of sacks. They have 45 sacks on the season. They rank 4th in sacks. Of course, you know that they have Michael Parsons over there. They have Carl Lawson, Osa Odigi. I'm sorry, Zua. Zua. Didn't mean to butcher the name, but hey, he's on Dallas, so I don't really care that much. But yeah, let's like I said, get the ball out of his hands. I need Kenny Pickett to make precise reads, get through his progressions quickly, and again, don't turn the ball over. Don't force anything, because that's what they want to do. If you let the Cowboys hang around, they can be deadly. But once again, if we establish the run game, do quick game, that also sets up the play action for big plays, because they're not good in the passing game as well. They rank 22nd in the pass game. They give up 223 yards per game. And then also they give up a lot of points per game. They give up around 27 points per game, and they rank 30th. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. Let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to the fundamentals. Let's play sound and sound football and technical football. And like I said, let's come out committed to running the ball on them, establishing that, and everything else will take care of itself.
No, absolutely. As you mentioned, we always start with protect the ball. That goes for all 11 players on offense, even those who do not touch the ball on a regular basis. But as far as Kenny goes, I think you hit it on the head. I want to see him under center. I want to see some quick game. So where he can get to his read, get the ball out of his hands. I don't want to see him patting the ball and hanging onto the ball for a long time. I expect to see a lot of exotic blitzes from Mike Zimmer, trying to confuse Kenny Pickett, and they run a lot of man, especially with the blitzes coming from that front seven. It was interesting to see that the Eagles, instead of going with potential, more so on Tanner McKee, they chose experience. Like I said, Kenny Pickett's been in the league now a few years, first-round pick. He has some experience under his belt, even though I feel like potential-wise, Tanner McKee potential is a better quarterback, but they chose experience. He has to play clean ball. Trust your eyes. If it's not there, get it away. Throw the ball away. Excuse me. You had mentioned running the ball. Run. Dallas has not been good stopping the run. Not only this year, the year prior, the year prior to that, the year prior. They don't stop the run. They want to get into a 7-on-7 type of matchup for real. So let's beat them up. Use Saquon. Use Kenny G. There will be no Will Shipley. Maybe they elevate another running back. Maybe they don't. But to somewhat slow down that not only pass rush, but them just teeing off on Saquon, as you mentioned. We haven't run Kenny like that. And not that he can't run. He's a good runner. He's just not Jalen Hurts. So I expect to see Kenny using his legs a little bit in this game just to kind of keep the defense honest so they can't tee off on the run game. Another thing to keep an eye out for is last week versus the Bucks, Deron Bland, he traveled with Mike Evans a lot. Wherever Mike Evans went, Deron Bland with. Interesting to see if he does that this week with A.J. Brown. If they play man with that, we all know A.J. Brown versus man is the best in the league. So if they decide to go man on A.J., that's a win for us. I want to see Kenny Pickett take advantage of that and account for Micah Parsons. As you already talked about, they are one of the best at getting sacks. That's not just this year. That's been years prior. Micah Parsons did not play the whole season, but in the 11 games that he has played, he's had about 9 sacks. So the production is still there. He is still an elite pass rusher. Not the best run defender, but that's the whole defense. They're not the best run defenders. So I want to see them take advantage of that. There will be no Trayvon Diggs in this game. There will be no Overshown. So some of those players on the back end who help aid the Dallas passing game or pass defense, I should say, will not be there. Better opportunity for this offense to get off.
Yep, and to continue on with your point, like you said, on the back end, they do have some injuries on the back end. I know Donovan Wilson is questionable, which he might play, but he's still banged up. Also, Amani Oruwari, one of their corners that have replaced Trayvon Diggs, he's banged up as well. So if he can't go, they'll probably put Andrew Booth Jr. out of Clemson in there. He's one that holds and grabs and doesn't have a lot of speed, so we can take advantage of that. And then one other thing I want to mention as well for the offense, communicate. Please communicate. I know that we haven't had these many issues with the offensive line, especially with Stoutland. He usually has those boys prepared and ready to go. But we have seen over the past week or two where it has been some miscommunication on the offensive line. So I just want to make sure that they communicate and know their assignments and we execute at a very high clip.
Absolutely. Like I said, especially coming off 2 weeks where versus Pittsburgh, the run game didn't really get started. Although Saquon had 150 yards last week, it was more of a faster start, slower ending. So yes, communication, especially in that run game, pass protection needs to be there from that front seven of Stoutland University. And as you mentioned, if you see Andrew Booth out there, just know he's food. They're going to pick on ball all game long for real. Like I said, very grabby. He's their 4th or 5th corner. Not a lot of promise there. So he'll be a victim. Moving on to the defensive side, the Philly defense. Looking for a bounce back game. What you looking out of them?
Yes, definitely. We, like you said, we didn't close last game on the note that we wanted to. We started off hot. I definitely want to see the intensity, the tenacity, the dog in the defense that we have. Like we said in the previous video, don't tone down for anything. Let's keep that aggression. Let's make sure that we get after them. What I'm really looking forward is their offense is subpar. They have a lot of injuries over there, as we discussed, and you said earlier. CeeDee Lamb is out. That's the biggest threat on their offense. So now, with their receiving options, they have Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, and then also their tight end is very solid, Jake Ferguson. So look for them to try to exploit and use Jake Ferguson in the passing game. But what we really have to truly focus on is stopping the run. Now, Rico Dowdle isn't in the tier of a Saquon Barkley, a Derrick Henry, but he is a very serviceable running back. I believe he has around a 930 or 940 yards on the season, so he's close to the 1,000 mark. I would like to see us not give him 1,000 yards in this game. So let's bottle up the run. Let's stop the run and put this game squarely on Cooper Rush's shoulders. We see what Cooper Rush has done. I believe the last 2 times that he's played us were 2-0 against him, dating back to last year when Dak was injured. We beat him. He gave us 2 turnovers. And then this year, he didn't have his strongest game against us. So what I would look forward to is our defensive line feasting and having a day. I know Thanksgiving was last month. I know the holidays just passed. Everybody's belly's full. Everybody ate good. But this is another day that we can eat. I really feel that Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Moro Jomo up the middle will get pressure. Let's push that pocket. They don't have the strongest offensive line. Now, they do have Tyler Smith, Chua Adoga, if I'm saying the name correctly. He's questionable. He's injured, but he's their left tackle. They rotate their tackles with Tyler Guyton, who is a rookie. But that's something that we can feast off of. They have Cooper Beebe, who is their center. And then they have Brock Hoffman, who is a right guard. But you'll touch on that more with Brock Hoffman, and then Terrence Steele at right tackle. So like I said, I'm looking for the defensive line to feast, especially on the edges. Now, Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith, like you said, if we see a sighting from Bryce Huff, I'm looking forward to them having a big game. Let's get Cooper Rush off of his spot. He's one of the type of people, he gets rattled very quickly. He gets rattled easily. He doesn't like a lot of pressure in his face. He doesn't like a lot of bodies by his feet. Once you start getting him rattled, he'll throw the ball. He'll sail the ball. He'll get the ball out quicker than he wants to. So that's something that we need to take advantage of. Let's get him dirty. Let's get him on the ground. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I looked at the forecast, it might rain in Philly, so that works in our favor. That bodes well in our favor, because once you shut down the run game, if you put it in Cooper Rush's hands to throw the football, he won't be effective. Like we said, he only has a legit 1, maybe 2 receiver options in Brandon Cooks and Jake Ferguson, but I look forward to be a solid game from the defense. I know there are some stats on their offense. They average 4.9 yards per play. They average 4 yards per rush. They have thrown 12 interceptions. So I'm looking for takeaways. That's something that we can key on. We did a very great job last week by forcing 5 turnovers. So I'm looking for us to build on that. They average 6.4 yards per pass. They have 5 rushing touchdowns, 22 passing touchdowns. They rank 10th in pass yards, as crazy as it might sound. But that was with CeeDee Lamb with the explosive threat down the field. They're not great in the run game. They only average 95 yards per game, which ranks them 28th. But they do get a lot of total yards per game. They average 328 yards per game, which ranks them 16th. But the beautiful thing about their offense is they don't possess the ball a lot. Time of possession. They don't possess the ball a lot. They only possess the ball for 28 minutes and 53 seconds, which ranks them bottom. They rank them in 28th. So that's something that we need to take advantage of. N'Kobe Dean, Zach Bond, keep doing what you all do. Let's have the defensive line push the pocket, as we always say. Have the line, the edge rushers collapse the pocket, bottle him in, and then like we said with the run game, let's be sound. Let's tackle. Let's get them to the ground. Do not miss tackles, because that's something that I noticed. It was just really last week, but the prior weeks we did a phenomenal job at tackling. So let's get them to the ground, but let's also look for a big day from our secondary, whether that be Quinion, big play Slay, Isaiah Rogers if he comes in, Reed, Blankenship, and then also CJ Gardner Johnson. Let's look for them to have a big day. But like we said, I'm looking for us to have do a complete 180 from last week. They really just broke down in the second half, but let's build on it. And then the final piece that I want to say for the defense is, again, I said it for the offense, but this is strictly for the defense. Let's communicate. Let's not have 12 men on the field. Let's not be undisciplined. Let's not get in self-inflicted wounds and create penalties, because the more and more, even though Dallas is not at full strength and they're not having their best season, the more and more you let teams hang around, they can potentially beat us, which I don't feel that they will. But let's handle what we can handle and control what we can control.
No, absolutely. And that's even going back to the game last week where the Commanders hang around, and you could see how their confidence just grew and grew and grew to the point where we took a L. But as you mentioned, this week for us, as it should be every week, let's start with stopping the run. Rico Dowdle, he is not a Saquon Barkley, but he is a legit NFL running back. He will fight for extra yardage. He does not go down easy. He holds on to the ball. Somewhat of a good receiving threat, not as good as a lot of your upper echelon running backs like Saquon or Christian McCaffrey, but very serviceable out the backfield catching the ball. I want to see us control this line of scrimmage. You mentioned their offensive line. The offensive line is not the best. Their replacement, Brock Hoffman, he's replacing possibly a Hall of Famer in Zach Martin. We all know who Zach Martin is. Mm-hmm. Very good, reliable guard, but he's out. So Brock Hoffman will be replacing him, and he is not that good. So you will see Hoffman going up a lot against Milton Williams, Jalen Carter. I expect maybe Jordan Davis, depending upon the formation, running or whatnot. I expect the interior of this defensive line to feast. But then I also expect these edge players to feast as well. Their tackles aren't the best. You've seen Nolan Smith coming on here of late the past several weeks. Josh Sweat, hopefully, a little bit of Bryce Huff or whatever other edge defenders that we send from the edge. Tyler Guyton, their rookie, he's been in rotation. I've never seen tackles get put in rotation, but that just speaks to the problems that they're having there. We're like, man, we like this kid, but he's struggling right now, Weeks 11 through 16, for Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush has been playing much better. He is one of the better backup quarterbacks in the NFL, averaging, as you mentioned, around 250 yards a game. That ranks him 12th out of all qualifying quarterbacks. Had 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, so he's limiting the turnovers. And then he has the second fastest time to throw, which is with 2.34 seconds. Now, he's getting the ball out fast because, one, the longer he holds onto the ball, bad things happen. He's more of a guy, he has to see it, get the ball out. Then, two, with their O-line not being as good, he has to get the ball out because he can't afford to hold on to it like Jalen Hurts does in a lot of these situations. It seems like he's back there for a whole minute, nobody touching him. They can't afford to do that. And then with also CD, no CD on the field, that's their big play threat. So I expect them to more so try to dink and dunk and work their way down the field. Cooper Rush doesn't have the biggest arm when pushing the ball down the field. He gets highly inaccurate. He's more of an intermediate to quick game thrower. So expect to get the ball out, expect him to get the ball out fast, kind of mitigate some of that pass rush and keep Cooper Rush upright. We may play more man to allow ourselves to blitz more, and a lot of cover three match. Cover three match a lot of times works out to looking like man coverage, but it'll allow us to put a little pressure on Cooper Rush. In this game, we don't want the Dallas Cowboys running up and down the field on us. As you mentioned, we want to put that ball in Cooper Rush's hands, force him to beat us. Now, if he can go out there and beat us, kudos to him, but I highly doubt he will. We have the number one overall defense. This is not going to be an easy task for them. I know, especially coming off last week where they started hot, and like I said, we had the 5 turnovers, but they didn't finish exactly how they would have liked to finish. So they're going to come out a little agitated, a little hungry, very passionate, but as we mentioned, let it be controlled aggression. We don't need mental errors, players getting thrown out the game, personal fouls, etc., aiding the offense. Zach Bond, he'll be the green dot wearer this week. You might not see Nakobe Dean on the field as much this week because they're planning on running a little bit more dime package. And then we also mentioned he was a limited participant, questionable, so you might not see him. Fun fact on Zach Bond, he's the first NFL player to record 140 plus tackles and 5 plus forced fumbles in a season since Derrick Brooks in 2000. And for those who don't know Derrick Brooks, he was on that historic defense that the Buccaneers had back in the day with Warren Sapp. Yep. Peter Boer, all those guys. Now that's per Jeff Kerr, but that just lets you know the company that he's in. We've had a plenty of great linebackers since 2000, the Ray Lewises and on up to now, recent days, the Fred Warners. He's in company with a Hall of Famer, Derrick Brooks. It just lets you know the type of season that Zach Bond is having. He's playing at an elite level, an all-pro level. He's going to continue to produce. I expect to see this from him not only this year, but years to come, especially within this system. But stop the run, force Cooper Rush to throw the ball. No CeeDee Lamb, as you mentioned. You'll see more Jake Ferguson, more Jalen Turbert, more what's the other receiver? Little man,
Kevontae Turpin.
Kevontae Turpin. Now they like to use Kevontae Turpin, try to get him in space. They line him up in the backfield, they line him up in the slot, a little bit of gadgetry so he can use his speed and electric playability. But I expect us to shut that down. Just play sound, play passionate, play with control, and as you mentioned, play discipline and communicate. I think communicating is going to be a big thing, especially in the red zone. Communicate. We check off all those boxes. This defense should have a great game.
And speaking of red zone, to add on to your point, speaking of red zone, their offense is not the best in red zone. Their percentage is 37.5 in the red zone, and they rank 30th in red zone offense. So that's something to keep in mind.
Hey, not the best red zone team. This defense has been thriving all year in the red zone. Had a little bit of collapse last week, but that's a hiccup. We'll bounce back. But overall, like I said, offensively, defensively, we play sound ball, communicate. Everybody check their boxes, do their 111. This should be an easy victory for the Philadelphia Eagles. Rounding out on special teams, because we got to do the special teams, baby. Rounding out on special teams, takeaways, what you looking to see from them?
I'm looking forward to, if Jake Elliott gets his opportunities, I need him to go 100% with field goals and extra points. Like we said, he's somebody who we're going to have to rely on down the stretch. He's going to have to make big kicks. Let's get back to the old Jake Elliott. Let's get back to the Jake Elliott that we know and love. With especially last week, what I saw on the kickoff team. Hopefully they have Jake Elliott out there kicking off because usually when Jake Elliott was doing kickoffs, he used to get touchbacks and kick it over the returners' heads. I didn't like the kickoff coverage last week. This is not a week where you want to play around on kickoff coverage. As you said, as you mentioned, little man, Kevontae Turpin, he's a little gadget player. He will kick feet on you, okay? Now, that play that we had last week with Luke McCaffrey almost breaking one, that's Kevontae Turpin. He will take one to the house. Some stats on Kevontae Turpin. He has 24 kick returns this year for 826 yards. He averages 34.4 yards per kickoff.
Hey, now you know what's crazy? Almost 1,000 yards in kick return yardage is absurd. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's nutty for real. So that speaks to your point. He's dangerous back there. If you do not run down and have lane integrity, rush your lanes, he will break that thing. And we got real undisciplined last week, as you mentioned. Luke McCaffrey almost took one back on us. If he was a little faster, he'd have had a house call last week. Turpin will take that thing to the crib. We cannot play with them boys. Literally. Hey, ask the Commanders. Yeah. Bruh.
and that's the one timeout he has on the season. Turpin will take that thing back to the crib. Like, look, the street light's about to come on, all right? Like, he about to get in trouble by his parents, all right? So, look, let's be focused with the Cavante Turpin back there. But then also, we have done well on punt coverage, but let's shore up on the tackling, make sure that we get those boys down to the ground. One thing where I do want to see is Braden, man, keep building off of your punts. You haven't had the best kickoffs, but you have had a solid, almost Pro Bowl worthy season with punting the ball. So let's make sure that we pin them deep inside of their territory. Let's make sure that they have to drive the field. Let's not get them short field, whether, like I said, on punt or kickoff coverage, because field position is vital in winning and losing games. But then also one thing that we can't do also is we have to be on alert. Now, if they cross that 50-yard line, it's fair game. Brandon Aubrey, he is one of the top kickers in the league. I did some research and got some stats on him. From 40 to 49 yards, he's 13 out of 15.
Jeez.
50 plus, he's 14 out of 16. So that's why it's very key, like I said, to focus on field position. Let's not let them get in a position where, okay, we're not putting up points or something like that, and then they're kicking field goals, because Brandon Aubrey will connect on those.
No, he's a dog. He's for sure one of the better young kickers in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, the Cowboys have a secret weapon in that man. So let's handle our business, not really give him too many opportunities. Because he's deadly. He is deadly.
Yes, he is. Mm-hmm.
But if we check off all our boxes, look, offense does their thing, plays complimentary football. Defense does their thing, play complimentary football. Special teams does their thing, plays complimentary football. We will walk away with another win. And hopefully, come next week, we win this out. You might not see too many starters. We might not need the game. We can rest everybody, because we do need some rest, allow a lot of these players to get healthy, especially now progressing into the playoff portion of the season. So let's handle our business. You know what I mean? Let's not play with our food. Do what we got to do, close it out, move on to next week. But should be a good game. Let's not get too lackadaisical with it. So everybody stay focused. Solid. Should be solid.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
For sure. Hey, you want to holler at the family?
Look, man, you know how we always like to talk to our family, our community, our supporters. What a time to be alive. You and yours versus me and mine. Are we talking tees? Are we talking tees? Are you switching sides? Want to roll with me? Come on now. Look, man, but we definitely appreciate all the love and support. We can't preach enough how much we truly enjoy doing these videos for our supporters, our loyal supporters, our new supporters. Thank you all for always tapping in with us and connecting with us. I definitely want to say we appreciate y'all from the bottom of our heart. But like we said, just make sure that you all keep liking these videos. Make sure that y'all are leaving comments in the comment section. I know that you all come to hear our disposition, but we like to hear your disposition and your voice as well. So let us know where y'all tapping in and checking in from. Let us know what y'all score predictions, what y'all think the score predictions are going to be for the game. And as well, just put who do y'all think or feel will have the best game overall on Sunday. But then also make sure that you are subscribing and becoming a part of this community as we build this community up, and then you become a part of the family. And then make sure you are turning on that notification bell, also that Liberty Bell looking thingy, so you don't miss when Swoop comes in with the Eagles news and updates.
You already know. Hey, come tap in with us, family. We here for it. Before we round this thing out, you know we got to give y'all some score predictions. Let y'all know where we sit with this thing. Now, coming up on this Sunday at 1:00, I got us beating the Dallas Cowboys 31-10. I think even with Kenny Pickett at the helm, the interim captain of this ship, you feel me? We're still gonna put up a little bit over 30 points on this defense for real. I really think that we're gonna dig into that ground game, and we have the opportunities to take our deep ball shots. You know, KP's arm's not the best. We'll be able to take advantage of those opportunities. The 10 points, touchdown, field goal, I do feel like they might get one on the ground. I really don't expect anything through the air. Then they might get in field goal opportunity. Like I said, Aubrey, he's a dog. You get anywhere around that 50-yard line, you know what I'm saying? He's going to give you some points. But 31-10 is my score prediction.
Okay, I like that. Like you said, I believe that this is a game that we bounce back. We protect home field. Like we said, this is a rivalry game, but let's come out. Let's be fundamental. Let's play clean football. Let's play sound football. Let's communicate and play for one another as we have been playing for the past 11 weeks. I know last week, as one of our new favorite words from Vic Fangio, is a blip. Let's leave last week as a blip, and let's turn over a new leaf and let's get back to playing the brand of ball that we know. It's going to be opportunities, like you said, downfield. KP, let's not underthrow. Let's not throw behind the receivers and let the defensive backs get in position to make the plays. Our receivers, let's make sure that we are securing the catch and finishing through the catch. But I have no doubt that the caliber of players that we have on our team, that they will be up to the challenge and bounce back from a disappointment last week. But I'm not too far off, big bro, from your score, but I'm going to go with 27-14. That's what I'm going to go with. I believe that, like you said, we'll get close to the 30 mark or to the 30 mark, but I don't sense or feel that the Cowboys on offense is a very big threat. So maybe they might score 2 touchdowns, or they might get 1 touchdown. And then, well, that's not going to add up, but yeah, so 2 touchdowns. Did a little quick arithmetic right there for you all, but but yeah, so like I said, I believe that we'll bounce back in and win this 27-14.
That's still a solid score, double-digit lead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that. I like that. That's a solid score for real. Hey, for all the family at home, and y'all drop y'all score predictions down in the comments. We love to see what y'all think about this upcoming matchup as we round this out, man. If you don't know, I go by Big Husk.
And I go by Mr. Owens.
Hey, and this is the Main Thing podcast, where we keep the main thing the main thing. Hey, man, happy holidays to everybody. If we don't drop another video before the New Year's comes up, have a safe New Year's. Enjoy yourself. Go Birds. Let's get this dub. Flag was fly.
Go Birds.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. You know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chaser.